Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and today I want to show you how to make our peyote bracelet kits using size 11-0 seed beads. I'm going to show you this using our jack-o'-lantern bracelet kit. In your kit, you're going to receive a mini spool of beading thread, a package of needles, 2 tubes of 11-0 seed beads, a tube clasp, and you're also going to receive a pattern and various other paperwork to help you along your way. For this project, you'll also need just any stopper bead, it can be anything that you like, a pair of scissors, or a thread zapper. Let's go ahead and take out one needle, and you're going to go ahead and take off a length of your beading thread. You can use as much as you're comfortable with. You'll have to tie off and add new thread, and I'll show you how to do that. So you just thread your needle, and to the other end, we're going to add our stopper bead. So just loop it through, and you're just going to go back around through. And you're going to want to leave yourself a nice tail because this will be the end that we'll use to add the clasp later. So you can go ahead and get your seed beads ready. Now for this pattern, you'll notice that the first 2 rows are all black beads, so you don't have to worry about trying to figure out which color bead to pick up. This is 28 beads across, and what you'll see is you'll see all the peaks and valleys, and this is row 1 and row 2. So that's what you're going to pick up first. So we'll take our beading needle, and like I said, it's 28 beads across. So we're going to pick up 28 black beads. So now that you have your 28 black beads, we're going to pick it up, and you're going to take your needle, and for this 3rd row, it's going to be all black beads. So you're going to pick up 1 black bead, skip the first, go into the second, holding it very tight, and just bring your thread through, and I'll show you what it looks like. And what you're going to need to do is just kind of wiggle it around a little bit until you get that little triad there. So hold that, pick up another black bead, you're going to skip 1 bead, so you can slide that guy down, and you're going to go into this next bead here. And again, it's just going to be a little wobbly, so you just hold it with your fingers because you don't want your thread to flip around. So you just got to keep it nice and tight. And just kind of wiggle them into place until they figure out where they want to go. And we're going to pick up another one, skip, and go into the next one. And you just repeat this process the whole way down. Let me just show you what it's starting to look like. You'll get to see all these peaks and valleys here. And like I said, this is the hardest part of the whole process. Just want to take your time and just keep it steady. And as you go through your final bead, go ahead and place it down. And you'll see that it kind of has a zigzag zipper effect. Now as you can see, mine's a little bit wobbly, but don't worry about that. They'll all snap into place when we do our next row. So looking at our pattern, I can tell that our next row is going to be a black row all the way as well. So for our next row, we're going to pick up our bead weaving, and you're going to pick up 1 black bead, and you're going to go into this next bead right here. And it just falls right on top there. Pick up another black bead, and you're going to go into the next up bead, and that falls in place as well. And we're just going to continue for this row, going into the next up bead. And into the next. So as you can see, we're starting to get a little bit more of a shape. So now again, you can see it start to develop where you have the peaks and valleys and this sort of zigzag shape right along here. And what's great about these is that they kind of all snap into place. So let's continue our pattern. And it looks like we have another black row. So what you're going to do is you're just going to continue the pattern, counting the rows across as you zigzag. You're going to start here and work your way down, and once you get to the end of this portion, you're going to continue up here. So it will then end up looking like this. For this bracelet, it will give you about a 7 to a 7.5 inch bracelet. If you'd like to add more length to it, you'll notice that it's really easy to do with this pattern. You just simply add more black to the outsides. Or if you want, you can do an orange stripe. Just make sure it's even on both sides. But I have given you the pattern for the exact bracelet that you see here. So this is what you'll be able to make with this one. Now another important step is to tie off and add new thread, because this takes a lot of thread to do, so you'll have to do it a couple of times. You'll want to go a couple of beads in. So let me weave a few more beads. You never want to tie off your thread at the end of a row, because then you'll see it. So I've gone a few rows in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and go down, up under this thread bridge here, and pull my needle through. And I'm going to go through the loop, and it's going to form a little knot that's going to come all the way down and sit inside there so you can't see it. Now take your needle and go into the next bead, and you'll weave through a little bit to hide it. And when you're weaving through and weaving all of your tails in, you're going to need to just follow the zigzag. And I'll go ahead and weave one more down. Now I like to weave in my threads and tie them off as I go, but if you want, you can always leave your tails and take care of it at the end. Go ahead and take your scissors or your thread zapper, and you're just going to want to keep a good tension and cut your thread. So now that we have that done, we're going to take another length of beading thread, thread your needle, and you're going to want to leave a tail because again you're going to have to weave that in. But picking up our beading, this is the bead that I need right here to continue the bead weaving. So I'm going to weave back through here and come up, leave a tail, weave up through this bead, make sure to not pull your tail all the way through, and I'm going to make a little knot right here by going under this thread bridge and back through my loop, pull tight, go down into this seed bead, oops, I want to get my tail out of there, And now I'm ready to pick up my next bead and go into this bead here and continue my bead weaving. Make sure your tails stay out. And you're just going to continue along the pattern until you get to the end. And then I'm going to show you how to attach the clasp. So now that you've finished bead weaving your entire piece, you're ready to attach the clasp. So to do this, we're going to need the tube clasp, which fits together. And you'll just go ahead and take it apart before you begin. You're going to need some black seed beads, and then you'll already have your needle attached to the thread that's coming out of your tail. If you need to attach more thread, go ahead and do that, just like I showed you before. But I have enough thread here to attach the clasp, so we're going to go ahead and just dive right in. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your needle and you're going to go into this second bead right here. So you're just going to kind of go backwards. And what you need to do is work your way up to this third bead right here. So you just weave back through, and you can usually go up a couple of beads at a time. And just weave down and back up, so you're coming through this third bead. So now you're going to pick up 2 black beads and slide those down. As you can see in this bracelet here, I'm coming back up and around and through the loop. So to mirror that, I'm just going to take my clasp and come through the back here, let that slide down, pick up 2 beads, and now I'm going into this bead right here, this next up bead. So you just slide down. And you'll be able to see once you get it taut. It will move about a little bit just because these sides beads fit through the hole, but that's okay because that'll actually make it easy when you wear it. So now that we're coming out of this bead here, so just going to go back down through this bead, and you're going to come up through the next bead. So you're going to go down and through. I'm going through those 2 beads, coming up, pick up 2 black beads, slide it down, and you're going to go up through the second hole, make sure it doesn't get tangled, pick up 2 more black beads, and go down through this next up bead. And you're going to continue, so we're going to go down and up through the next one, pick up 2 black beads, slide those down, come back up through the third hole of your clasp, pick up 2 more black beads, and down through the next hole. And you're just going to continue. So now that you've come to the end of your bead weaving, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the thread around and weave through here, and you're just going to go back over this thread path just for a little extra security. So go ahead and go down. And keep the tension tight, and you'll just weave all the way across. So once you've woven all the way across, you're just going to come back up through that first bead, and all you're going to do now is just retrace your thread path. So you're just going to come back up through these beads, and you can actually work through the back. So just go back through the hole of the clasp, and now you can see on the front side, back through this bead, and down the way the first thread path was. And you'll just continue to go up and back through. Get my needle to the back here. Back up through the beads, through the hole, and back down through the front. So once you've rewoven and worked your way back over here, all you're going to do now is tie off your thread. Same as we did before, just come through the back, make a little loop, pull your needle through, and because this is the very end, sometimes I find it helpful to go and make 2 little knots, and then just weave your thread down, and then you can pull your needle out. And I showed you earlier how to use the scissors, but in case you have a thread zap, I'll show you how to do that. So you just press it, warm it up, and zap off your thread. That easy. So as you can see, I did the clasp the same way on this side, but when you close it, you're going to want them to be symmetrical. So when you do it on this side, you'll be coming back up and around the same way so that they line up, so that when you close it, it's going the right way. So for this side, you'll sew the clasp this way, so that when you undo it, you'll be able to clasp it properly. But it's the same process that you'll just repeat that we did here, you'll just repeat it on this side. So that should give you your completed jack-o'-lantern peyote bracelet kit.